man. Maybe have a couple kids, but you still can. Just a white early nights, a minivan. But guess what? I'm alright, not the plan. They call me crazy, you think I'm lazy, but a 9 to 5 ain't gonna save me. I know you're on your knees praying for my soul, but I'm okay being square in a round hole. Sorry, can't answer my phone. I ain't Betty Crocker, sitting at home, so sorry. It got me all wrong. You better pay attention to the words in this song, like. And guess what? I'm alright. Mama told me I should marry me a rich man. Maybe have a couple kids, but you still can. Just a white early nights, a minivan. But guess what? I'm alright, not the plan. They call me crazy, you think I'm lazy, but a 9 to 5 ain't gonna save me. I know you're on your knees praying for my soul, but I'm okay being square in a round hole. But I'm okay being square in a round hole. Sorry, I had to skip town. You never heard safe coming out of my mouth, so sorry. Can't hear you right now, cause they're playing my music just a little too loud. Cause they're playing my music just a little too loud. Mama told me I should marry me a rich man. Maybe have a couple kids, but you still can. Just a white early nights, a minivan. But guess what? I'm alright. You got yours. All silky sheets, house on the beach, 10 leather seats, Mercedes. I'd rather be in Tennessee with baggy jeans from the 80s. So sorry I can't hear you right now, cause I'm playing my music just a little too loud. They call me crazy, you think I'm lazy, but a 9 to 5 ain't gonna save me. I know you're on your knees praying for my soul, but I'm okay being square in a round hole. I saw my confession, you can lock me away. Hand me a shovel and I'll dig my own grave. Can't tie me down, already brought my own chains. I'll never know rest until the piper gets paid. Rubbing with these hands don't get clean. Running but I can't run from me. Carrying a weight so heavy, I'll never be free. My ears are burning, I can hear it whisper my sins. It's right behind me, licking my heels, I feel it coming. I'm just a dead man. My ears are burning, I can hear it whisper my sins. It's right behind me, licking my heels, I feel it coming.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
I got my secrets, things that keep me in the dark. They've been waiting.
What's up?
They gon' stay between me and God. And this cold, it's been weaving its way from my soul. And I wanna call out, but I choke, cause it's keeping its hands on my throat. My ears are burning, I can hear it whisper my sins. It's right behind me, licking my heels, I feel it coming. I'm just a dead man. My ears are burning, I can hear it whisper my sins. It's right behind me, licking my heels, I feel it coming. I'm just a dead man. These hands don't get clean, running but I can't run.
Good morning, everybody.
Carrying a weight so heavy, I'll never be free.
Woo! New highs.
My ears are burning, I can hear it
Cranking, man.
whisper my sins. It's right behind me, licking my heels, I feel it coming. I'm just a dead man. My ears are burning, I
Get started in just a moment.
whisper my sins. It's right behind me, licking my heels, I feel it coming. I'm just a dead man walking.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? The song. So that is an artist, Rebecca Bruner. It's not Katy Perry. Rebecca Bruner. Look her up. She's a great artist. Rebecca Bruner. The song was Round Hole and Dead Man Walkin'. It's a single. She came from, a lot of her songs came from a songhouse. All right, we're going to take a look here, see what's going on in the markets. We just tagged the upper daily expected moves, pushing new highs for the all-time highs. Congratulations, we're basically here. We did have a new closing high at the end of the week. Yeah. All right, we're gonna hop in. Slow morning here. I just got back from the gym. Got to get my little workout in. Early morning sesh, prepping for the Murph challenge for Memorial Day. My guess is I will not do too well because holy moly, everyone in that entire class smoked me. All right. Where to begin? We're going to start off looking at the index watch just to get an idea of how the week started out from an advanced decline perspective. Advancers, decliners. And then we'll get into some of the gamma levels, some of the expected moves, and then we'll go into individual trade ideas, see what's going on there too as well. There is a specific chart that I do really like coming into this week. So we're about half-half, so it's kind of a mixed board here. We're looking at the S&P 100 advancers, decliners. We have 57 advancing stocks, 44 declining stocks, S&P 500 pushing new highs. And this is, I mean, on the back of, look at the larger market cap names. These ones are all in green, and it's kind of a mixed board on the, you know, the right hand side of our screen. So a lot of the big mega cap names are kind of the ones holding this together. On deck this week, we do have NVIDIA earnings. 2.5 days, so it's going to be after the close. We have Lowe's, Target, NVIDIA. What is MDT? Medtronic? Yeah, Medtronic. Intuit reporting earnings from the S&P 100 this week. So all eyes are going to be on NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA was one we've been talking about, this wonderful consolidation, right? And then we broke out the prior day, we pulled back in, and we're kind of been trading around. Let me clear all this stuff up. I don't know what's going on here. So NVIDIA is going to be a huge one to watch because this one can absolutely, unequivocally, absolutely, intuitively, other words, move markets. So if you go into the trade tab and you look at the implied volatility, it's about 102, about $83 expected move for earnings. So, I mean, this can take us easy to new highs. And it can take us into that 1,000 marker, which we said was kind of one of those psychological levels. It seemed like it wanted to go there. So we'll see really, hey, is this AI trade coming to an end? Or is it just getting started again? Because overall, the chart does not look good. Or sorry, does not look good. Does not look bad. All right. A couple other big movers last week was silver. All right, so silver broke out of this consolidation massively, not last week, but it's been kind of breaking out, and then we saw a huge push. So yeah, are you going to be buying up here? Probably not. Now you wait for another consolidation of some sort, but this thing also pushed up, you know, the 32.75, some big moves there. Let's take a look to see if gold followed. Also, new high there on gold. I believe that's a new high, all-time high. Big move. These markets, it's very interesting to see these kind of move. All right, 10-year yield still catching a little bit of a bid here. Moving up a little bit higher. And then we have the dollar that we want to check in on. And this one's coming off the highs today, down there towards the low. So we saw some strength. It doesn't look all too bad. I mean, it looks like it's just consolidating, like it's gearing up for another push higher here. But overall, just basing just on the smaller time frame chart. Okay. And then on the weekly basis, I mean, is this just a pullback before potentially pushing higher, which could put pressure on markets? So the 10-year yield rising, dollar rising, it's not been the greatest for markets. But right now, we're pushing all-time highs. Look at IWM. IWM is seeing a nice little consolidation here. So this could be setting up now finally to break through this consolidation that we've been kind of in. What is going on here? This little consolidation right here. We've been a lot of choppiness, came back in. Now it's coming back up, and we're kind of consolidating just the last few trading days. Why is my thing acting all weird? What is going on with my computer? There we go. So sitting right around that 210 level could be a potential area to watch here for IWM. 210. Just go back to the left end of the screen. We've found some supply, and now we're just kind of trading these last couple of trading days here, like so. I would prefer to see a little bit more consolidation versus, you know, because where we came from, for things to catch up a little bit more. But, you don't always get what you ask for. XBI, which is biotech, broke out of this consolidation. Now we're consolidating here. So this could still be a potential winner here in the early stages, to potentially go back up to this 100 to 104, 105 level. You can see we broke out of this downtrend line. We consolidated nicely. We're consolidating again here above a 50-day moving average. So as price tries to, as these averages try to catch up, and these are still holding up rather well, could offer up an opportunity there too as well. Qs did make a new high. We're kind of coming in right here. One of the big things that changed this last week that I want to cover is the sailor to shift tool. Switched over to a buy signal. So I'll pull that up. This creates some opportunity because, actually, you know what? I think I put together a crypto watch list. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so here's the sailor to shift tool. You can see that we did we crossed above here this last week, and we closed above there this last week. So that is the buy signal on the sailor to shift tool for crypto. Sometimes crypto related equities. They don't trade the exact same, but there's typically high correlations if you're looking for like higher beta type plays. Now the trigger is when price action crosses above the prior week high. Now, you can say you want to wait for it to close above there. You can wait for it to cross. You don't need to wait at all. This is just a strategy, and other people make their own strategies. I'm just telling you what it is that I went off of with all the buy signals, buy triggers in the past. So all these whipsaws, all these moves, all these green and red lines, they're all from the signal and then the trigger. And the trigger was when the price crossed either below or above the prior week trading high. So that's like about 67,700. We're basically right there, not quite above it yet, but we're just about there. So we'll see if we get above it or not. Ooh. All right. One of the names that are on my sites that I've shared with the Discord group earlier, before the start of this week, was MRK. And this one, I just think looks very clean. Like, it's looking like it's getting ready for a pretty solid move. And let me walk you through what it is that I'm seeing. Where do I clear this drawing set? Okay. So this one's on my radar, MRK. Gosh, this is like textbook volatility just getting super tight here. You can see that right at about 132 to 133 is kind of where we get hung up at. Okay, right around this area. But as you can see, we're getting these lows. They're higher each time, and they're just getting tighter and tighter on the right-hand side, meaning that we're probably going to get a break of volatility, like a big move in volatility here in the near future. Whether it's to the upside or downside, I don't know. But you look at this tightening up. It's technically in bullish context because you're above a rising 20, 50, 200. Okay, so typically, like when you look at this, it'd be, okay, you think that it was going to break to the upside, right? Given the context of the chart and trend trading and a base being built, okay? You can even look at the weekly time frame and so forth. It's getting pretty tight here on the weekly time frame. All right, right here. Very tight. You can call it an ascending triangle, call it whatever you want. But then you start to see like, oh, okay, like on this day that was earnings, you had big volume right there. All right. This day that you saw an update, it was actually a gap down, moved up higher. That was big volume. Even this last trading day here where it came off the lows, closed at the highs, there's some bigger volume than average there. This day right here, bigger volume. And then it consolidates on declining volume. So this all seems to me like it's just base building for a potential move out of this pocket in the near future here. So whether you're a swing trader, day trader, whatever the case is, it does seem like there could be an opportunity here to trail. And you can look at this on a more tinier time frame and you're like, okay, if it breaks out, cool. And then you'll have a stop at this swing low, or you have a stop at this swing low. You just got to size your position correctly to make up for the whatever trade you're kind of going for, or how much risk you're going to take on. So overall, yeah, I would say volatility is getting pretty tight here. Whether that breaks to the upside or downside, there's more ideals for the breakout to the upside, but you just got to respect it if it breaks down. And if it breaks down, then it can always come back in and reset up. And then you could potentially take another swing at it. You just got to make sure you manage downside. But yeah, this one looks pretty good. So I like that. That's on my radar. MRK, Mirk. All right, some of crypto names. If we do get the buy signal, Mara is one that I'm paying attention to. Mara is getting hung up right at around that 2021. If we do have a buy signal, and you can see the higher lows, perhaps this moves with Bitcoin. It hasn't been moving with Bitcoin, but perhaps if we get a buy signal, maybe it starts to kick off again. So this would be one that I'm watching to see if it gets tight up in here and then breaks up from this area. No position for me at the moment, but that is one that I'm paying attention to. Let's take a look at some of the larger market cap names, see what they're doing. We'll take a look at Microsoft, Micro Hard over here. All right, so Microsoft, a lot of these names, man, they've just been kind of coming off the lows and they move straight up. So we haven't seen much consolidations, and now they're coming back into these prior swing highs. Microsoft hasn't made a new high, but yet the markets have. I do find it interesting that all the sectors are above, almost certain actually, all the sectors, let me see actually, before I say it, sector summary, sector candle glance. Yeah, basically all the sectors are above their 50-day moving average, except for right now XLY, and XLY is basically right on it. XLY looks like it's getting very tight actually, so take a look here. Now XLY is a discretionary ETF, and the top holdings there are Amazon and Tesla. And Tesla was one of the trade ideas that I posted just a little YouTube short on. It's coming down today, but it's still holding up decent. It's down about almost 2% today. But Amazon and Tesla are the top holdings here. So if Tesla were to start catching up a little bit and Amazon holds its posture, this could break out of this really tight consolidation over here. So if you don't want direct, move into Tesla, XLY could be a potential play if it starts breaking out to the upside as one of the sector plays. You just see how tight this is getting right here? So when volatility inevitably expands, that could be one to watch. Now, when I look at Tesla, all right, Tesla is just an inside trading day as it stands right now. Give me a second. Ooh, what man? Wah, 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 wah. All right, so Tesla if I were to anchor a volume weighted average price right here, it comes basically right to and around this level. So we're kind of holding up in that area. Now you can look at this and be like, hey, it's bear flag. That could be also a possibility. You can look at it from this move right here. It could be flagging. That's also a possibility. So all I see right now is price action getting pretty tight here, right? Including today, it's even inside the prior trading day. So if it starts breaking down, then you'd watch out. If it starts breaking down from here, watch out even further because it could be a continuation more to the downside. But as it stands right now, we're kind of holding a rising 20-day. The 50-day starting to neutralize and turn around. We're holding right around the anchored volume weighted average price from the swing low. If I go to the 15-minute time frame, we're right now kind of breaking down this little tight pattern here, but it's started to turn up, so we'll see if that can recoup. And it's trading right at around the point of control for the last 10 trading days or so. So I think that it's still in play here, but you got to be very mindful of the risk if it were to break down, because Tesla's been a dog all year. Okay, by a dog I mean like literally look at all year what it's been doing. This is the start of the year, and it's been down. People get excited. It broke down. People got excited. It broke down. People are getting excited. It's starting to consolidate here again too. Are people getting excited? Maybe. So there's opportunities, but you just got to make sure you manage risk. Because if Tesla all of a sudden turns around and breaks up to the upside and goes to 200, 210, these are moves that you can make some great, you can do great with, as long as your risk is being controlled. All right, let's take a look at Apple. Apple's making a big comeback over here. Solid move there from Apple after earnings. Not too far from their all-time highs. No consolidation, so I don't really look to enter into that. But maybe an intraday scalps and trades like that. NVIDIA, we've already went over. Google, let's take a look at Google. Google's new all-time highs today. All-time highs for Google, and it's been up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days in a row, basically straight up. So when these consolidate, right, that's probably when the S&P 500 is going to take a little bit of a backseat too. The S&P 500 today, it's floating around the zero-date level that was identified in the earlier trading session, which is 53.25. We'll see if that changed at all. We're above 5,300. Okay, that was the call wall at the time, going into option expiration last week. But options expiration has now obviously came and went. And now we're looking at a call wall because traders reached out further to 5,400. Okay, so 5,350, 5,300, they're still important levels. I would say that we're basically remain buyers above 5,300. And then we have our gamma flip line, which is at 5,240. Okay, so let me zoom in here. Okay. Here's the gamma flip line, 5,240. Here's 5,300. So yeah, even if price were to come down, consolidate, move around more, wiggle, do whatever it wants to do, I would still assume, given the context of being in positive gamma territory and above a rising 5-day moving average, you'd be looking to buy the dip. That has been the working method for the markets, okay? Right now, we did tag the upper daily expected move for the S&P 500. Why is the week to date doing that? Yeah, there's the week to date. Okay. That's updated now. That's weird. Weekly expected moves for the S&P 500, which we did get through last week. 535.15 to the upside, 523.75 to the downside. We are trading outside of the upper monthly expected move at this time. There is still higher probabilities that we come back within, but we're pretty well outside of it as it stands in this current moment. So coming back in within, the remainder of this month is not impossible, but we're pretty well outside of it. Let's take a look at market net flow. Market net flow has been bullish all day. Same with the other days that have been driving price up. They've been pretty bullish. We are starting to lose a little bit of convergence here. And when we lose convergence, that's when markets can move a contra move to what the divergence is telling us. So that could be where we pull back, consolidate, get some chop, and so forth. But right now, yeah, man, people are buyers. What's on deck for the economic outlook? We have some Fed speak. That was today. We have some auctions, 3-month, 6-month bill auctions in about 15 minutes. Then tomorrow we have more Fed speak. A lot of Fed speak. Oh my God, they're out in full force tomorrow. Barkin, Waller, Williams, Bostic, Collins, Mester, they're all out. Got another auction. Wednesday, we get some more macro data, some existing home sales, FOMC minutes. Then we get some PMI flash numbers Thursday, some more auctions, some more Fed talk. And Friday, sentiment numbers, durable goods. This is interesting to me because if I looked at the S&P 500, I mean, the volatility with the S&P 500 going into this week was so low. Let me see where it's at now. Yeah, now it's at a 12 vol. It was like at 5 or 6% vol, implied volatility. So it's up a little bit. It's like almost like, okay, like it can't really go down much further. So volatility is going to peek its little head in here. And the expected move was, let me just take a look here. The expected move for the week was $56. That's pretty dang tiny. And, you know, this makes sense because you're in a positive gamma environment, above a rising 5-day moving average. This is where liquidity increase and volatility comes down. But to what extent does it come down? I mean, we haven't seen a $56 expected move for, dude, I'd have to go back far. I'm cranking right now, going back. It's been a long time. But what's so interesting to me about that, only a $56 expected move. Okay, here in April 1st, the week of April 1st, it was $58 or $59. Still smaller than that. Okay, you have to go back to March 25th of this year. So it's been a while since we've seen this small of an expected move. But what's crazy to me is it's such a small expected move when we have NVIDIA reporting earnings. And NVIDIA can absolutely, like I said, really, really get markets moving. And they're looking at a plus or minus $82 expected move. So in short, what that means is we're coming for one of these expected moves. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, we're going to be tagging one of those levels. So pick your poison, basically. If NVIDIA reports and who knows if we're actually at one of these expected moves by the time NVIDIA reports. It's always a possibility that we reach to those levels beforehand, but chances are NVIDIA can really take us to one of those levels. So if NVIDIA reports positive, negative, doesn't matter. Whatever the market says, you know, how it reacts to it can really get the S&P 500 moving, get the NASDAQ moving, get all these assets moving. Can VIX go negative? I don't know, man. Who knows? Something breaks, I guess. I mean, we didn't know oil can go negative, and oil went negative. I would say no. But I don't know. You never know. Who knows what can happen in these markets when things break? Okay. If you guys have any tickers, put them in the chat. We can pull up some individual names. What was that one that I was talking about? Oh, I think I'm actually in a little. Well, right now the market's kind of just chilling. I want to pull up Mara really quick. I want to see where this is at. Mara's catching quite a bit of a bid here. I have an intraday move on Mara right now, and I kind of forgot about it, so I got to check in on that position. But I played this little breakout over here. Actually, I think I played it right here. This is before going live. Just intraday though. PANW, yeah, we'll take a snow. PANW, I see some names coming in. Yeah, keep them coming in, and we'll pull some of these individual names up. I'm just gonna leave my, let me, hold on, give me a second. Let me just check in on this position. Not bad, man. I'm just gonna update my stop to break even because I'm gonna let it go. I don't care if it stops me out. I just can't focus. Can't trade and like pay attention to all this stuff at the same time. It makes it a little bit hard. Okay, so we got a couple of names coming in here. We'll take a look at snow. DIA, got net, APTV, FCX. All right, so here's snow. I can't quite recall. I don't remember for sure, but I remember putting this little box here because this was kind of like that gap fill area, and it looks like it came right into this area and then started moving from it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. I don't remember when I put that up. So we have earnings. So this is the thing with these type of companies, okay? So, or these type of plays. You know, when I get asked about snow, it's like, okay, I can give you my opinion right out of the gate, but earnings is 522. It's in a couple of days. So I'll pull up the trade tab. I'll look at the expected move. It's like 17 or 18 bucks. Okay, that's from where it currently is at. You know, it could be literally up here or down here after earnings. So it's like any technical analysis at this point going into earnings is kind of frivolous. It doesn't make, like, you can't do much. But I can tell you what it looks like right now. So right now, it's actually not a bad setup, right? We're above a rising 5-day moving average. Okay, that's the very short term. But on the daily time frame, right, you have a low, a higher low, kind of a higher low trying to be built here. You have the 20-day turning around, 50 days starting to neutralize. And if you even take out the structure even further like this, you can say, oh, you know, it's kind of a rounding kind of bottom right here, or, you know, an advanced, you know, inverse head and shoulders pattern. And I'd say, yeah, you can look at it from a bear, and that could be bullish, right? Breaking back above 165, and then we can start moving again. It's below a declining 200-day, so that's the bad part about it. But then the other bad part about it is, oh, you can look at this and say, yeah, it's kind of, you know, wedging here or flagging or whatever, you know, in a bearish structure. It doesn't matter if it's bearish or bullish as far as this goes, but what it does tell you is price action is getting very tight moving into earnings. So we'll probably see that explosive move. Now, the way that I would look at this, if you're bullish, no, because it did get beaten down quite a bit, right? If earnings, like, I can't establish a brand new position going into earnings because I don't, like, it's pick your poison. Like, who knows where it's going to go, up or down? I don't know. Okay, say if it does gap up, boom, we get a nice big move up. It's a big bullish candle. From that point, I would then look to see it, wait for it to consolidate and see if it flags out, see if it, you know, pulls back, digests on smaller volume, sets back up for a lower risk entry. Because I don't care if I'd rather not risk a move that can potentially be down here or gap up. I don't really know, you know, play a position. And I'd rather, instead of playing it from here to here, I'd rather just play it from here up into, you know, here or to this price swing higher, so forth. That's how I look at this, right? Because if I go into earnings and I just, hey, here's a coin, toss into it, that's not a viable strategy. You're giving up all your edge because you're going up against the largest competitions in the world, competitors in the world. Like, if you think you understand like fundamental analysis, just go up against other people's models and they're wrong all the time. Go up against other, you know, firms, analysts. You're going up against the most concentrated level of area of analysts that there are, all right? So you really give up all your edge by saying, hey, yeah, I think it's going to go up or down going into earnings. You really don't have an edge. You're giving up. It's a coin toss. And it could be great earnings and it could still go down. It could be horrible earnings and it could still go up. That's the credit part. So all we have here is an ability to see where risk can take us while looking at the expected move. But even at that point, that is one standard deviation. You could still go out 2, 3 standard deviations. So yeah, for me personally, if I had a position going into earnings, like say if I was like, yeah, dude, I took this position way down here and I'm up here, then I'm like, okay, so it looks like it's $17 expected move. Am I okay with it coming back with one standard deviation back to my break-even point? I might be like, I'm not too bad about that, but I'd rather lock in a little bit of profits, and then let some remaining go. That's how I would approach it if I was already in the position, right? APTV. I don't know what APTV is. That sounds kind of familiar. APTV. Active. So this looks like it's setting up pretty nicely. So bullish structure, bullish earnings. We had the follow through. So this is what I mean by earnings. You let for earnings go. Boom. We consolidated. Okay, this looks good. Nice consolidation, nice bull flag. Just be aware that you are also, it's a bullish flag in bearish context, right? So when you have bullish structures in bearish context, it doesn't mean that you can't trade it to the upside and can't keep going, but you should understand that the larger trend is still pulling down. So think of it in terms of like you're swimming, you see the ability to swim, here's the river and it's flowing down, and you're like, hey, yeah, it's kind of slowing down right here. So it's a little bit slower, current over here. So I'm going to go over here to try to get across the river. What just happened? My screen keeps on going black on my end. So you go down here, you're like, okay, but just understand the idea, like you're still going up against a current, right? To get to where you want to go. So in these terms, you got to be a little bit more aggressive. All right. I don't know the fundamental picture of this. I don't know what this company is at all. So like for me, like when I look at this, I'm like, okay, if I trade the breakout to the upside, I'll be moving my stop to probably break even probably pretty quickly, or taking some partial profits off and then letting some go after that point. But overall, right, pretty bullish structure over here. It's just coming into a declining larger trend, right? If I go to the weekly time frame, you can see it here, right? The 40-week moving average pulling down, the 10 weeks pulling up. It's back above the 30-week, which is trending down here too. So even if it were to break out, you never know. It could just reset back up and eventually start turning back around to make a nicer move for a longer time frame, or a longer picture move. But overall, pretty solid looking little flag. Net was one I was watching a while ago, but this thing broke down. And then you have earnings that came out, and that was a bearish move. So this one's not really on my radar for anything now. Let me clear this drawing set. Okay, so net. Yeah, I usually don't really like getting into like positions after a big bearish earnings gap like this, unless if it really shows some sort of consolidation, some sort of something. And right now, it's back under the 200-day moving average, which is still trending up. So, and it's getting pretty tight right here. So if you were thinking about like, hey, I think the long-term perspective of this is good and I think it's going to go higher, where's your stop? Your stop would be probably the swing low, because if it broke down from there, who knows how far this thing could fall, right? It's already fallen pretty hard and fast. Okay. But so for me personally, yeah, I don't like, I just don't see, the only trade that I'd see here is if like, okay, if you enter in, right, you're in and having to stop right here, which is, 4% drop. But you can look at this and be like, okay, it broke down. Now it's consolidating on lighter volume, pulling back. And this could be, just flagging, go up higher, and you could potentially take another leg down. There's been a lot of names that did that. I mean, let me show you Lulu after earnings, right? Look at Lulu. Okay, so I traded Lulu to the upside. I traded it right here to the upside. And what did I say during this time? Because, right, it pulled back, consolidated, and it kept on going down. What did I say? You have to be somewhat more aggressive because the trend is against you, right? So it broke out, and everyone's like, yahoo! But then what did it do? It's new lows. It just cracked new lows. So do you understand? Like this is just a good example as to show you, well, this is why I got more aggressive. I can play a breakout, right? After extreme move to the downside, But weak stocks typically get weaker, strong stocks can get stronger. It's not all the cases all the time, but that is just a principle in trend following. Weak stocks get weaker, strong stocks get stronger. Let's actually take a look at Ulta, because Ulta, a very similar look, right? Ulta, talked about this one that I did not trade, but it broke out of here and then came right back down. And we have earnings around the corner. All right. See Roku up on the board here. Roku. Yeah, I don't see much going on here. Give me a second. Come on, what is going on here? Okay. Tech and Riley, I'll take a look at those. Starbucks, yeah, we can look at Starbucks, man. Yeah, so Roku's a little sloppy for me here. It's a little all over the place. When things tighten up, maybe I'll see an opportunity here, but I don't really have too much comments on Roku. It's getting a little bit hammered today. Probably could bounce in the very near future, maybe even down by the gap fill or back up to the point of control. But right now, it's a little bit hard to read because it is quite sloppy. So it's like, okay. And it's like right here, it's been trained like sideways. So it could be like literally like this. You know, maybe if it does come down and do this a little bit more, maybe it will set up the 50-day turning up and the 20-day turning up and then sets up for a move back up higher. That's always a possibility. But right now, this is a hard chart to read. I mean, look at this. It came way down here and then came back up and then gapped up and then closed at the low and then went up, then gapped up here, closed at the low, came down, gapped, or no, then closed at the low and then it ripped back up and it's all over the place, man. Go to the weekly time frame. Maybe that'll be a little bit clearer picture. Even the weekly time frame's rough. Like underneath, yeah, I mean, look at this thing. It's like almost like boom, then consolidated, broke down. Consolidating, is it going to get ready for breakdown? I guess what you would want to see is if it starts breaking back above 61, right? Because it's getting pretty tight here on the weekly time frame. But you need to see some strength. MACD's flattening out to trying to turn it back around, but yeah, I'd prefer to see some strength in it. Yeah. Roku can make you broku. All right, that's pretty funny. Roku can make you broku. Sheesh. All right, let's take a look at FSLR. I think this was actually on my tight list this week. Or was it end phase? I can't remember. Solar names have been all over the place, man. These ones are also hard to trade. But what I do notice here is you're starting to see a little bit of a change in trend, right? You get these averages moving up, flattening out to turning up, getting consolidation, breakout, all right? Earnings came, passed, that's good. We're kind of consolidating here sideways too. You just got to be able to withstand some volatility in these solar names because they are crazy. If I look at the weekly time frame, not the greatest look here. I mean, it's starting to turn up, which is positive. But I'd also prefer to see it like go sideways maybe for a little bit longer. Because it kind of just went up and I don't feel like entering in to get pull back down and like waiting that out. So if you can wait that out, it could be very well something. I just prefer to see a little bit more of a change. I think it was end phase that looked a little different here. Yeah, take a look at end phase. End phase is actually coiling up here pretty nicely. And look at all the averages. They're getting very, very tight here. We're talking the 10, 20, 30 week, or sorry, 10, 30, 40 week. Still in overall a downtrend, but you can see we've had some very, very tight price action from a weekly perspective. So if things can like start moving above, like, the week high, which is like 115, if we start getting back above 115, maybe that does give us room for a little bit of a pop to the upside. Look at the daily time frame. Clearly the river is flowing down, right? The 200 days flowing down, 50 days flowing down. So you have trend against you, but it doesn't mean that it can't eventually turn. So you might be able to play a pop to the upside. Like I said, if it clears 115-ish, right? Today it's already down 1.5%. Maybe it's putting in another higher low. And if it does, boom. And that's to say, okay, say if it screams up to 130, it doesn't mean that it can't come back down, consolidate, and set up actually a little bit better with the 200-day trying to flatten out, 50-day trying to move up, and the 20-day. and sets back up. So this one will take time, but there are opportunities in here to catch little pops. All right. I see Hood. Yeah, Hood's looking good still. Hood's following through. We talked about this one, I think, on the last trading session, looking at the weekly time frame, because it was kind of loud and noisy here on the daily time frame, but it looked good when you go to the weekly. All right, nice consolidation. It's breaking up to the upside. These ones could do really well. I've seen these work really well in tandem with when the Sailor to Shift tool triggers too. So this one's been going up. Would I chase it right here? Nah, I wouldn't chase it up here. I would see how it consolidates. Maybe goes up higher, then chops around, consolidates, and resets back up. That's what I would look for. I think coin is one that is still consolidating. So this one will probably have a higher correlation to Bitcoin. But this one's getting very tight on the daily time frame. And the last trading day, not the last trading day, but the day prior was a pretty big red day to the downside distribution. Tight move, big volume, big down. But now we're trading within that. So it's getting pretty tight here. That's coin. If I look at the weekly time frame, take a look at the weekly time frame. You can see we've done this before. We pulled in onto inclining averages. Boom, it shot up. We pulled in to inclining averages. Boom, it shot up. Now we're pulling back in again. And you're getting a pretty good spread here. So the trend is actually quite nice here on something like Coinbase, right? You have the 30-week kind of spreading from the 40-week, which is roughly the 200-day moving average over here. And then we're below the 10-week. So you may want to wait to see if that recoups, right? Because it can still obviously go down a little bit further. But I can see why people would be bullish in this context of a chart like this, of coin. Right? And if this is just a big flag right here, I mean, shoot, think about this. If this is a flag and it plays out to the upside, I mean, you can, your target would be, your roughly measured move would be roughly up to like 520, 325, 350. It might not be a clear shot, but yeah, I like the looks of this. So if you are looking to go along something like that, you got to give yourself the right risk parameters, right, to give it room to breathe. And allow for the volatility, because these things are super volatile. Super volatile. Like this move right here was, like this one day was down 10%, right? Like if you go too big of a position and you're down 10% in a single day and too big of a position, chances are you're going to freak out. But if your position size makes sense, a 10% move is like whatever. It don't matter. So you have to beta adjust, volatility adjust. Hey, what's up, Michigan Trails? Thanks for the super chat. Not looking for financial advice, but what would you do if it was your money? You can't ask it like that, because that is financial advice. Goof, but thanks for the donation. If I look at BlackBerry, I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, if it was literally my trade, my money, the way that I set it up, like if I look at this, I'd be like, I'm just not trading it. I don't trade this. That's what I do. I don't trade these things. If I do trade these things, dude, it's like 1% of my portfolio, literally 1 or 2%. So it can go completely bust, and I'll lose 1 or 2% of my portfolio. I did that on a trade in like a regional bank, and it didn't go bust. It ended up going up 60%. So it paid out, but yeah, if it's like, if it was my money, like I don't trade this. And you like, right? If I understand, you traded it from down here and you made great money. All right. So like, make sure, like if I made great money on this, like I'm still looking at other inventory, other ways to trade, because you caught a move that doesn't happen frequently. Right. And if I caught a move that doesn't happen frequently, like for example, hey, who remembers what I traded? Remember when the regional bank, all that bad news about the banks were going down again? Not way back when, but more recently. What was that? What bank was that Was it NYCB? No, that's not even a... It was this. It was this. Okay. Yeah, it was this. Okay. I entered in right here at $2, and I exited right basically here. The same day, an hour later. I haven't looked at this chart pretty much ever since just now, right? So like I made a play because of just absolute fear mongering, and I haven't even looked at it again because I'm not interested. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't SVB. So yeah, when I look at like things like this, like, yeah, can we squeeze again? Yeah, but also it's like, dude, you made a crazy trade. And remember, crazy trades, they're rare. They don't come by every day, right? So yeah, can this bounce up? Boom, yeah, sure, dude. Yeah, of course it can. Of course it can. But you know, if it was me, I never press my luck too much. If I caught something amazing, I want to like hold those profits, you know? So yeah, if I look at this, yeah, it's pulling back in. Yeah, up into an inclining 50-day. We've seen some support into those areas before. So to see a bounce, sure. Yeah, we can potentially see a bounce, but I mean, you'd be trying to catch a falling knife right here, right? Because it's just been basically like gapped up and is freaking just slamming us back down. So it's a little too, like, you asked specifically, what would I do with my money? If it was my money, I mean, I'm not even trading BlackBerry. Because I just don't have the risk tolerance, man. I just don't have that. Republic first. Do you guys remember when all those things were going crazy? I was trading FNC. Yeah, it's not even around anymore. FNC, the bank, when it was like blowing up, man. That was crazy. Some crazy volatility there. What the hell happened to Tesla? Was that wick real? If it was, then I'm stopped out of my position. I don't think it was. Doesn't look too good of a chart though, not right now. Looks disgusting. We're floating back around 53.25. We've kind of been there for a large part of the day. We ripped up higher and then we just kind of camping around as we're trading around what the market price in of its implied move. So can't be too shocked right there. It's kind of just trading around those levels. Oh shoot, my Mara position. I should probably check in on that. Oh my goodness. Give me a second here, people. I got to update my stops. This was an intraday trade. Holy cow. Let's go, baby. Holy moly. See, this is why I can't trade live. Holy cow. Wasn't expecting all of that. I put my stop at break even and it just ripped. Good thing I checked. All right, I'm gonna have to close a little bit out because I can't. I don't want to forget about that. I'm gonna close out probably 2/3 of it right now. And by the way, once again, this is just a day trade, but once again, remember the sailor to shift tool turned positive, and that's why I was kind of pointing out some of these names. The last time it was actually up this high, if it reversed on itself the complete day, like this day over here, it went up and then it reversed on itself the entire trading session. These things are volatile, man. They're very volatile. All right, so my day trade is basically over and done with there. I have a third of the position on, I believe. Why didn't nobody update? Everyone heard me say that I was in the position, yet not one single person said, oh, dude, it's taken off. Not one single person. Where did it was right around here that I entered. Yeah, it was like 4%, man. The heck? This thing is going. Let's go. All right, so what is that? That probably means coin. Coin's making a run. That probably means Hike is going a little bit of a run. Not much. Riot is causing a little riot. Okay, well, what about the bit? What about the BTC? Bitcoin is holding up rather nicely. All right, let's do this. Sailor to shift tool, man. Are we striking again, dude? Are we getting ready for some crypto? Not watching any crypto stocks? Of course, Moonraker. Of course, of course. And this is happening while the market's kind of coming in a little bit here. Okay. Convergence is kind of waning right here too. Tech is leading the way as far as the top sectors in the S&P 500, followed by industrials. Towards the bottom of the list, we have energy, consumer discretionary, which is interesting, and then financials down there too as well. Trade the news on? Oh, my bad. Trade the news has been off. I guess there hasn't really been any events. Yeah, so I think a lot of focus for me is going to be probably on crypto-related equities in the very short term, just with the Sailor to shift tool turning up. I've seen Tesla work pretty good with while these things happen too, but Tesla's been just a dog. So I still have a little position there. I'll be definitely getting out if it crosses down through this white line, which is weird because it like wicked down there. So I got to check in to see if my position's still even active. I don't know what that was. Probably just a hiccup.
Jamie Dimon, now the CEO of JP Morgan, at their analyst day, saying JP Morgan is not going to buy back a lot of stock at these prices.
Yo. So we getting some downside watch type of volume here in JPM. He just mentioned something about not buying back. So you're getting some volume here in the short term. So this would be downside watch here for JPM. If it doesn't mean that it's going to go down, but always look for consolidations and maybe follows through to the downside. If people are going to start selling into, this big rally, it's basically at lows of the day right now. But this could be something to watch intraday. Still above a rising 5-day moving average. So I don't like shorting into the hole, but if we pull up and consolidate, that could be something to watch. Silver up another 1.39% today. This thing is just crazy. Silver's going bonkers. That means probably miners are going bonkers. Yeah, see, so miners have a very, very high correlation to silver. Gold miners, silver miners, obviously, but so gold miners have been just going absolutely bonkers. Somebody had mentioned FCX. That was on the tight list last week, the last prior week. This consolidation right here, we're following through nicely there. I think Alcoa was one that was on the tight list there too as well. Nice big breakout in Alcoa. We saw some great breakouts in the tight list last week. And same thing goes. This week we see some great names, but just understand that the market's pretty extended. So you can always, if the market comes in hard and fast, some of these names, you play them as individual names, but just be aware that if they come in hard and market comes in hard, they could just be consolidating a little bit more during potentially an increase in volatility. Any thoughts on Lulu? No, I don't really have any thoughts on Lulu. We pulled that one up earlier. This is one that I said I traded over here. And this is, like I said, is in a bad trend, but you can trade it to the upside for a potential bounce. And I was super aggressive on it. I was out, I believe, this day or this day, one of those 2 days. And now it's turning back around. So it's just following the trend back down to the downside. I don't really have any thoughts here, other than just watch out, get out of its way, let it do its thing. I wouldn't short down here, and then I'm too scared to go long. Even if we see a bounce, look how overextended this is on a daily time frame. So yeah, we can see it bounce, right? But I don't know if I want to, put in a lot of my capital or anything for a potential or no potential of a bounce. I don't know. So I don't. It's right now volatility is expanding, right? So I'm back off, wait for it to contract, and I'll go from there. And if you want to see it contract, but you want to be a little bit more aggressive, go into the smaller time frames to see if anything changes from a very more like fractal look at the market, right? Because like easy, you can be like, yeah, I can play it right here, and then I'll play it for a pop back up to 330, and you'll probably be right. Like you'll probably be right. It'll probably bounce up $6 in the near future, but it might go down a little bit more before bouncing. So with that said, you got to be very mindful of those positions. I want to check out MRK again because this is one that I've been interested in, and this one's holding up well still for the day. I do have a position. I'm just waiting for a breakout to add. I was hoping to get above like 132. So the setup here is just like, man, it's too obvious of how clean this looks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like getting super tight right here to 132. And it's very rare that it's just like a clean break, you know? It's like boom and then takes off. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it goes like this. It like boom, boom, and then blah, and then goes all crazy. So I got to be ready for all of that. Ally Bank was one that looked pretty nice on this breakout, and this came back in. So this consolidated, boom, broke out and came back in a little bit. So we'll see here. This one is this back testing to find potential strength to come back up to these swing highs. So this could be an opportunity here as we're still in bullish context. We're below the 5-day moving average. So you probably want to see that kind of turn back up or get back up, start to see price come back through that level. Tesla's down about 2% now. Let's take a look at JPM again. See what's going on. We just crossed under the 5-day moving average. So here's the kind of consolidation that I was talking about here, just on a smaller time frame. So this is the downside watch volume that came in, followed through, kind of consolidating here, see what happens. I want to check Mara again because I might have to update my stops. Holy Mara, bro. Oh my goodness. Let's go. Let's go. Can't complain there, right? Let's go. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I am quite happy with this. Give me a second. All right. A little left. A little left now. Little left in. GME is dying. Good old GME. Is Roaring Kitty tweeting anymore? You know what's funny too? Okay, so you gotta look. So GME saw this big move. Let me show you the trade ideas here. It's hilarious. It's not hilarious if you got beaten up, but understand this is what I mean by you have to manage risk. So, okay. I'm going to just show you. All right. Where did that go? Okay. So here was the original setup. Okay. GME, getting very tight in a flag formation. If bullish, would be nice to hold month-to-day anchored VWAP. Okay, boom. Consolidated here very tightly, right? Big volume came in. Then obviously we exploded to the upside. Okay. Now this was a joke, but it was also serious because if you took the trade, you want to always consider updating risk parameters, right? I laughed, but I was very serious because it was just crazy how much it moved. But okay, Jimmy, updated chart. Always, because the reason why I laughed is because I always say this on all the trades that go in the direction, right? Always consider updating risk parameters if it's in your favor. LOL, and that was like, it was way up here, right? Because if you're not taking profits up here and it's just moved 100%, when the heck are you going to take profits? Or update your stop loss or, whatever you're going to do. Well, it was way up there, right about here at 60 when we posted that. And now it's down here. You see what I'm saying? Like from here, even from the original trade idea, it's still technically up from the breakout, right? Which happened right here. Like it's still up, but yeah, if you're not taking profits and you're up over 100% on an equity position, even more if you're trading options, when are you going to take profit? And if you're entering into a position up here, you need to work on FOMO, right? Unless if it's an intraday trade and you're just trying to be tactical or whatever the case is. But yeah. Pulling into the daily volume weighted average price as the SPY is pulling in here, we're getting some action still in these crypto related names. Let's take a look at coin. Shabadaba at the highs of the trading session, just about. Broke out of this nice consolidation above a rising 5-day, neutral 5-day moving average, but it's starting to pick up here. You can, I mean, it's already came kind of far and fast, so be aware of that. So if you're entering in here, like just understand, like it might, if it goes up, cool, but if it comes down, you know, just a move of half that move would be down 1.35%. So it's always important to keep an eye on consolidations on smaller time frames and make sure you're very looking at risk very good, okay? BlackRock's pumping. What's BlackRock? Let's see BlackRock. BlackRock looks like it's going sideways. But it is nice bullish consolidation in above a rising 5-day moving average, which is this little consolidation right here. So this one does look, I mean, it looks pretty nice. Little tight 4-day consolidation right there. Let's see, Charles Schwab. A lot of these banks look like just killers, man. They look really good. There was actually a bank that I was looking at the other day. Oh, let me see here if I can find it. Can't quite remember. RCL made a big move, by the way, out of that tight consolidation. That was one that we had on, we were watching, that we talked about the other day. So it moved out of its little pocket right there, and that's up 5.85%. So congratulations to anybody who caught that. A lot of people identified that. So good job, one, identifying it, and then two, good job trading it if you traded it, the breakout. That was on this week's tight list too. There's a lot of good-looking names right now on the tight list if you're in there that still haven't made a move. Jeez, look at, like, I'm just going through these really quick because there's a lot of different names here that are just like, so a lot of these insurance names look like they broke down, so I'd probably watch out for Target, AIZ. Those ones I'll probably remove. GBDC, OBV. Some of these oil names look like they're getting pretty tight. Let me see here. Let's see what happened to DKNG. This one got pretty tight, broke out, and I think it came in. So DKNG got pretty darn tight right here. We broke out, and this came back in. So even right here, I mean, this looks like a pretty decent, still a decent chart. If you go long, I would say probably just a stop under the low of the day, or maybe even trail the 20-day. But you see how this kind of broke out and came back in? It kind of reminds me of Ally. ALLY kind of broke out, came back in. So is it a back test of a potential breakout? And now it's at the high of day, getting back up to the 5-day moving average. If I look at this like from this perspective, for the intraday, you know, it's holding up decent. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right. S&P 500 still floating above its daily anchored volume weighted average price, which is all the week to date. So yeah, we came into what? We came into the implied move, the expected move, the daily expected move, came in a little bit. I wouldn't consider anything really technically broken here. I think it's just consolidating. Market net flow, we lost convergence. Cumulative net premiums for calls came in a little bit. Nothing shocking, really.
Warner saying they're accelerating their sustainability efforts with the addition of a hydrogen fuel cell truck to its fleet. Whiskey Echo Romeo November.
Why is RCL up? I mean, RCL, I mean, I don't know why it's up, but on news or whatever, but I mean, just look at, it was in bullish context for one, and then price action got very, very tight. When price action gets very tight, it typically expands. So we're seeing that expansion in price today, right? It's basic principle of technical analysis. When prices move between contraction then to expansion, then it's going to contract again, then it's going to expand again. Qs are looking a little toppy. Let's take a look at Qs. I see what you're saying. Choppy up here, yeah, and just getting some kind of like push down. So what you're seeing here is lower highs. And I mean, the Qs, okay. Maybe this will help demonstrate something. So Qs, let me draw this line over here. Extend to the left, extend to the right. I'm going to edit properties, and I'm going to show you 454.2, 454.2. That right there is the daily expected move. That was the daily expected move for the Qs. So look at, it's kind of just trading in and around that level. It's holding above it still. So that's the daily expected move, right? This is what the market priced in as far as like, hey, a one standard deviation move. This is what we see. And you can see we got above it, and now we're kind of holding that level. So the market was wrong. Now they're kind of like, you could just call it potential hedging activity. But if it breaks back down, come in, obviously. So the higher probability is that we come back down. But as you can see, we're clearly trading outside of it. So you can always look at other names. So take a look at NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA's coming in a little bit here, catching a little bit of a bounce. Microsoft, obviously another big strong hold. Still holding up rather strong here too. Apple, right? Getting very tight here. We have a high, a lower high, but it's also getting very tight here. Okay, so if these start breaking back up to the upside, I mean, you can see Qs right back up, perk right back up. Okay. Now, while this is taking place, let's look at market net flow. There is no convergence. So if there's no convergence, this is where you can have contra moves or chop. And that's what we saw. So this lost convergence here, right? Market came in and we've just been chopping. So no edge. There's no edge right here. There was some individual names. Let's see what Mara's doing now. That's so. Oh, look at this thing scream! Come on, people. We're on a roll.
UK News reporting that Japan is making a public-private push for bendable solar
Come on
panels.
now. That's crazy. I know that there's people in this chat, in the chat that heard us talking about crypto and crypto-related equities earlier. Okay, I know it. And I know people heard me say when I was in my position down here, how I entered into a position. I know people heard that, especially before this move. I know people saw us pull up the Sailor to Shift tool, okay? This is Mara, M-A-R-A. We were talking about crypto-related equities. I wish I had a larger position in there right now. I just couldn't pay attention to it. This was an intraday trade for me, but it's still one that could be traded from a larger time frame too. That's crazy. Let me see. I got to go into my. That was a big trade. That was a big trade. That's a big trade. Little celebration. It's still going too. It's squeezing. It's crazy. sell a little bit more into it. Like I said. That was a big one, man. That was a big one. Careful chasing, people. Don't be jumping in late to the party, all right? Wait for consolidations, wait for pullbacks, wait to see how it goes. That was very strong move in a very short period of time. So that's probably means we got the trigger on Bitcoin. Oh, you dang straight we did. That's a buy signal, buy trigger on Bitcoin. Sailor to shift tool reigns supreme. You're welcome. This ding dong put that chart together a long time ago, and the video only has like 20,000 views, so not many people know about the Sailor to shift tool, which is, in my opinion, still to this day, the best indicator out there for buying and selling crypto. Now that can change, but as it stands in this current moment, that thing has been just a monster tool. An underrated, no one knows tool. You guys could share it. You could give it more likes. You could help me out to get it out to more people. But also, if it gets out to more people, maybe it might stop working as good. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just excited. Yeah, it's fine to miss the move, man. It'll set back up. Don't FOMO in anything. Don't FOMO. Just let it come to you. Let it set up. That's fine. Yeah, these names could be starting. Like, so, for example, so look at, right? It's just, technically it's starting to break out.
CEO Diamond at the analyst day.
So if you look at the daily time frame, it slows things down a little bit for you.
Is not 5 years anymore.
So it can consolidate, pull up and go, or it can keep squeezing, whatever. I don't really know what it's going to do, but right now, like, so if if I'm swinging this, my position would be smaller, and I'd probably put a stop at the low of the day today, or right here if I'm giving it a little bit more room.
Inflation is coming down sustainably to 2%. Comments from the Fed's daily.
Oh, we got CLSK. Yeah, CLSK. Let's see there. Yeah, this one's at highs of the day here too. So that's a crypto-related equity here, kind of getting tight. Nice little consolidation. Okay, so this could be one to watch. This one's also, this one's screaming already. So that means things like Wolf is probably moving, right? Yep, moving up. Okay. Then you look here. It's like not the greatest looking daily chart. Okay, but it is what it is. Hike, also at highs of the day. Moving out of its pocket. This thing's up 6.8% today. A little choppier. Riot is one of the bigger ones. Riot's screaming. This one's up 5.86%. Come on, dude. Come on now. Come on now. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for hitting the like button. I appreciate people that actually interact. Not only comment, that watch, but also like, comment, do all that stuff too, man.
Fed's daily saying
appreciating it.
Any evidence
Thank
right
you.
Now of a need to raise rates.
Appreciate it. All right, what else should we look at? CLH. Just look at some individual names here. CLH is consolidating here. Yeah, it's consolidating. Clean Harbors. What is this, like what is Clean Harbors? What do they do? I'm assuming they clean harbors. TDW. Is that TradeWeb? Tidewater, not TradeWeb. TradeWeb is, I forget what TradeWeb is. Tidewater is also getting very tight here too. You have earnings that moved up, pulled back, and now it's getting tighter here. So this one looks like it can get ready to make another little push in the near term, right? Good risk coming into this. So Tidewater, what was trade? I swear to you, TradeWeb, is that TW? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I mean, this looks like it's tightening up here, but not the chart that I had in my head. It's giving some more trade ideas that are kind of like getting tight here.
Daily saying that she does expect to see continued improvement in shelter inflation, just not rapidly.
PayPal, yeah, we can take a look at PayPal. I still have my position in PayPal, I think. I gotta look. ARLP. Above a rising 5-day moving average. This one looks pretty good. I can come fill the gap or something. Look at the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame doesn't look too bad. Bullish looking MACD, spread up. Somebody asked me if I don't use like moving averages and that kind of stuff, or like studies and so forth. I do to an extent, but when I go into the daily time frames, like, or the intraday time frames, like the minutes, I don't really use like the averages. I literally look at price and volume, and that's really it. And then I'll look at like the some of the averages. I don't like make trade plans on my moving averages. I use them as literally just a tool to just to help me clarify trend. That's it. That's all I do with averages. Yeah, our ARLP looks pretty darn crazy good. I mean, it's like we're now working on 4 weeks tight here. You can see it's kind of held up in this area, right? It's coming back into this area. It's above all these averages after a nice big run up. It's been basing. I mean, this could be a very long-term base. Longer the base, higher in space. Daily time frame, it's a little sloppy, but still, I mean, it's doing good. So this one could be something, maybe a longer term kind of hold for higher prices here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at PayPal, and then I'll go through the other names. I see a firm on there. So PayPal, man, PayPal's been sucking. PayPal needs a break. PayPal needs a little squeeze and getting some excitement back. Because every time we get a little move up, dude, it's followed through by just a massive red candle and closing at the lows. Like literally, boom, 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 boom. They're everywhere. So you get these little moves up and then it's followed through. I still have my position. Right, so as time is progressing, so this is the 200-day moving average. It's trending down, so I get it. But if I go like this, and I go to this day, and I go over here...
Finance Minister Hunt saying the infected blood scandal is the worst example of an establishment cover-up that I have seen.
What? So as time progresses, so the next 2 months, when 2 months pass, I think that this could be a very viable play. I think it's still viable. I still have my position, but... as 2 months, so this is, okay, the reason why I say this is because look at where we are right now. This is 200 days prior. So all of this price action from here is what's averaging where we currently are. And notice, you still have to go through this. So as time moves forward, you're going to lose this as part of the calculation. Okay? So, in a month or so. And then if you lose this from the calculation, it's going to start averaging where we are moving forward. And if that's the case and we start losing this data that's way beneath us, the 200 days is going to start turning flat to going up. And that means that we can potentially have a trend, the larger trend, changing. But it's going to take time. So it's going to be one that we got to keep continuing to watch. I've been trying to take stabs at it, so I have a stab in there right now. But it's just like, it's just going sideways, So I take a hit. I go for a trade. When I play it, when it tightens up, it goes good in my favor, or it doesn't, and I get stopped out, and I wait for it to set back up again, and it is what it is. Let's look at a firm, and then we'll pull up TTD. So a firm, this is the daily time frame for a firm. So here was the last, is this the daily time frame for a firm? It's getting a little loose and sloppy for me on the daily time frame. Look at this. So this was earnings. Okay, whatever. Volatility, right? We gapped up, we came up, then we came back down, then we came back up, and then we closed back at the low. Then we came down to the 200-day. Then we ripped right back up, and now we're pulling back down again. This to me, would give me a headache to trade. But
the government will be setting out details of its plans to compensate the families who have been affected by the blood scandals. This goes back over 30 years.
Okay. So right now you can see it's really kind of following the medium-term trend, which is a declining 50-day, but it's holding, it's respecting the larger trend, which is the rising 200-day. So for me, like, okay, this day was a big volume day right here, and now we're pulling back in. So if we can consolidate and get a little tighter, I would be open to the idea of playing a move out of that, okay? And then having to stop under the 200-day. But understand that if that's the case, and I'm waiting for the break of, you know, $34, that's about a 10% drop if I'm wrong. So I'm not going to take a full position into a firm, right? And take a 10% hit if I'm wrong. It's going to be probably a half a size position, maybe even a quarter position. And then I'll look to add if the trend really does start to change, and I'll pyramid into it or whatever, dollar cost average up if things are working in my direction. The weekly time frame here, I mean, the weekly time frame also, like, I've shown charts like this. So see how it started turning up here, and we're still kind of holding above a rising 40-week and 30-week. It just, you want to get back above the 10-week, right? And now the MACD is starting to kind of flatten out here. So there's, I mean, this could be just an opportunity where we had a stage 4 decline. This could have been the accumulation phase. Then we start to see a big move up on big volume. Boom, boom, boom. And now price is just multiple weeks, just drowning out people. Boom, 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 getting hit, getting tossed around, back into these averages, maybe setting up for a potential, right? So, and you can see it here, these last few weeks is getting very tight here. If we start getting back above these levels, that we might go for another move. And, you know, I'd love to be a part of that if that's the case. But you see that? You see how it's starting to Stage 4 decline, stage 1 accumulation, stage 2 is the markup. The goal is to find names going into a stage 2 and or trading a stage 2, you know, and you trade there, like, you know, up and down in the larger time frames or the smaller time frames. Like, for example, let me show you Glass F, because this is probably a good example. This is one that I traded. Might even still trade again, because this was like my largest percentage gainer for the year. But notice how these just pay attention to the averages, right? They were coming down, so declining, potentially flattening out. This could be accumulation. So you got stage 4, stage 1, and then you moved up, and then they started inclining. They started turning up, came in, boom, and this is where I traded it personally right here, right? So it came in. This kind of looks right here, kind of like a firm, right? Coming in into inclining averages. So if we can see strength, you can have follow through. At least it sets up for that opportunity, right? So, yeah. So yeah, if it's loud and noisy, it's always worth checking the smaller time frames. Okay. Mara came in a little bit here. So this is what I mean by, like, you're just careful chasing, right? They come in, right? Like just this little move here. So this is why you don't want to oversize. Like that was down to 3. That's a 3% drop right there in Mara from just that high. Okay. So you always want to be just patient. These names. Where did I buy the pullback on Mara? At this point, I mean, this was an intraday trade, man. The intraday trade for me was down here. And I got lucky. It moved, right? And I literally couldn't even I wasn't even paying attention to it when it was moving. I literally got lucky. I was truly thinking that I was going to get stopped out in the position so I can focus on my live stream. Now, if I go to the daily time frame, right? If I go to the daily time frame, I'm going to be picking a position that I don't care if it comes right back down minus 5%. My position is not going to be that big, right? For a swing trade, right? We're kind of floating around this like prior area of supply here, and we're back above the 20. But I will tell you this, my stop loss is probably going to be, I'll look to edit the position to have a stop way down here. And let me see where that's kind of at. God, that's a 20% drop. These things are so high beta. Man, you can get destroyed on these high beta names. So you gotta just really focus in on that risk. Because I couldn't even imagine, like, imagine going too heavy on a position and then you're down 20%. Like, that's, like, good luck coming back from that. Like, that's very difficult to come back from. Let me show you what I mean by that. I think I have a little chart. Yeah, I do. Okay. So let me walk you through this so you really get an idea here, because, you know, let me zoom in here. Okay. If you take a percentage loss of 5%, your return to break even, right? So if you lose 5% to go to break even, you go 5.26%. All right. If you lose 10%, all you do is 11%. But if you lose 20%, you have to get now 25% to break even. 30% loss, you got to get 42%, which is, I mean, good luck. You take a 30% loss in your portfolio, coming back, getting 42%, that's very difficult to do. That's not easy. Like, sometimes it takes multiple years for people to strategically do that, right? Unless if you're just YOLOing in. But then, unfortunately, if you're YOLOing in, your losses can get more and more crazy. And then, obviously, if you lose 50%, it's going to take you 100% to get back, right? If you lose, you know, from $100 to $50, from $50 to $100, right? That's 100% move. And then 60%, look at that change, 150. Pretty wild. So yeah. Focus in on them position sizing. It's crazy. Crazy. Is the VIX going to 0? Who knows? Right now, we're floating around the daily volume weighted average price, daily VWAP, which is also weak today, anchor VWAP. We're just right there. S&P 500 still got hung up at 53.25. The 53.25 is the level that we've been kind of focused in on. As far as market net flow goes, no real edge here. Bullish divergence, no convergence. And then if we take a look at Qs have been floating around the daily expected move here pretty much the entirety of the day. Okay. Entirety of the day. What chart are you talking about, FT? Oh, the this one right here. You want me to share this on Discord? I'll put it in the technical pattern reference guide. There, I posted it in there. That's in the Discord now. Don't share what? The percentage chart. Yeah. The one that I just put in there? Okay, cool. Shooby-doo-dooby-doo-doo-doo. All right. Take a little break here. I need some water. Some more water. LPG keeps rocking. Deary Dio, let's take a look at LPG. I have a spot in LPG, actually. Where we at? Let's go, baby. LPG. Whee! Yeah, LPG's looking good. Let me see here. Where am I at? Where did I enter in at? I entered in right here. Boop. Right there. So I'm up on the position. It's in bullish context. I'm keeping it going. I guess I'm up like 6%. That's pretty good. Yeah, about 6%. And now it's consolidating here too. Nice little consolidation. Oh, is earnings around the corner too? Ah, man, dude. Now I got to consider doing something. I forgot about that. 522. It's not like it's a crazy options chain. $4 expected move. I don't know if I really believe that. You know, I'm just going to let it roll. I don't have like a insane position size to the extent where I basically almost forgot that I had it on. And I'm up 6%. I'll probably just let it go. Maybe peel a little bit off, but yeah. Have a look at VIX. Yeah, I can look at VIX. Yeah, what's going on with VIX? It's up slightly. I would imagine VIX would be up today. I mean, volatility was absolutely crushed. Like when I was looking at implied volatility on the shorter dated options for the week, right? This looks like, I think VIX is like 30 days out. Like how could it go lower? It was literally to the close of business last week. The weekly expected move implied volatility was like 5 or 6%. And that's crazy to me because like we have NVIDIA reporting earnings. So something was way off there, right?
Seeing some additional comments here coming from CEO Diamond from JP Morgan saying that banks should be allowed to merge. This coming from the JP Morgan Investor Day event.
Whoa. Not the greatest looking consolidation there at JPM. Let's see, this is what I was like kind of the downside to watch, looking for some sort of consolidation. Wasn't clean. Wasn't a clean look. Not the clean look. Oh no, not the clean look. Yeah, a lot of these names, man, they've just been moving. AZN. Wabasabi. Yeah. Cintas, man. This thing has just been a monster, too. Cintas is just consolidating here as well. Just a little flag. Probably going to go for those highs again. Bullish context. APP. Oh, this is an interesting name. So this one reported earnings. It had a nice big gap up. APP. So we consolidated, broke out, then we had earnings, and now it's consolidating its earnings move. So this could be potentially a play to back up to 88.50 or even higher, but it's kind of just holding in, consolidating here. If you want to flag, whatever, flagging. It'd be nice if it came back down, then broke out. That'd be real clean. But it's trying to make a move right here. Got above the high of the prior day candle. So app. Back above the 5-day moving average, which is kind of flat to declining. Google came in quite a bit here. I'm not surprised after a very strong move. So Google coming in, that's going to hurt markets. NVIDIA still holding things together. Apple still coming in, right? It got really tight, came in a little bit. Microsoft still up 100 basis points or so. This one, I mean, look at this. Look at Microsoft right here. If you want the market to go higher, I mean, here you go. Microsoft, if it starts breaking up. All right, it's getting pretty tight here. That looks pretty good. Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, Microsoft, lows, higher lows, moving into kind of a little pivot area right here. This is on the minute time frame. So if Microsoft comes in and starts moving out of this to, I don't know, to go back up here, to go back up here, wherever the case may be, Microsoft is the largest market cap name, and we're doing this right at about the daily VWAP for the S&P 500. So if Microsoft starts moving, that can bring us up, saying that the other stocks follow. But right now, what am I looking at? I'm just looking at a pullback right around to the daily volume weighted average price. Is market net flow giving us any insights? No, no real edge here. Now, if this was green, I'd be like, yeah, that looks pretty good for a trade for Microsoft or even the S&P 500. But right now, from just a technical perspective, let me see the volume here. I mean, decent. I mean, little decent pops of volume there. Nothing crazy, though. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Yeah, but overall, just pulling into the daily volume weighted average price. Just not a bad look. Not a bad look. Let's look at 0 date levels, see if anything's changed here. 53.25. So a lot of focus at 53.25. So pulling back up to 53.25, I wouldn't be shocked. But there's not much underneath that other than 5,300. So if we get some sort of surprise, 5,300 could be a level. But that's I guess it's still early in the trading session. But right now, you're in positive gamma territory, getting a little bit of a pullback, above a rising 5-day moving average, holding the daily VWAP. So basically, if you were to go long here, this is kind of what I would say. If you're long in the S&P 500 here on this dip and you're seeing strength, right now it's just an inside trading day or inside trading candle right here into the 15. If you were a long daily VWAP, as we're kind of U-turning back through, I'd probably have a stop at the low day right there. Or I don't know if that's a low of the day, low of this candle, and then see if it can hold back up to the daily expected move or around there, and just update my stop as time goes. All right. And then Microsoft could be a leader in that pack if we start to crank up. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break here. My legs, they hurt. My legs. Somebody do it. Somebody. Vital. Trader Jen's, VITL. Let's take a look at Vital. What is that? VITL. Farms? Vital Farms? Holy macaronis. Wait, was this in the tight list? Actually kind of looks familiar. Or was it last week? No. It sounds familiar. No, it was in the tight list. Was it? I can't remember. I think it was. Yeah, nice little pop there. Following through on the bullish earnings gap. Nice stuff. Nice little move. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. Be right back. I'm going to put on some...
For JP Morgan, JPM, continuing to see comments come out of their investor day saying that they see second quarter investment banking fees up in the mid-teens from Q2 of 23. This coming from JP Morgan's investor day.
Hey, you know what, JPM? Why don't you chill out, okay? How about that? What is going on? Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe.
Seeing some comments coming from Russia President Putin speaking on state TV regarding the energy sector, says that Russian oil output declined year to date 196 million tons. This coming from Russian press.
What am I doing? What is going on? Okay, there we go.
Putin is attributing the Russian oil output decline to the OPEC Plus deal.
Uh-oh. Let's take a look at oil. What's going on here? What's oil doing with him talking? I'm going to take a break, but still. Just want to see if there's any activity. Okay, not much. Holy moly, dude. What is going on here? Bro, even the book map looks confused. Yeesh. I don't know, people. Not a clear move. Let me There's just a lot of liquidity overhead, a lot of liquidity beneath us. It's kind of all over the place. Let's see what there's level. We still have 53.62 up ahead. Anything below us? Man, wild. Okay, I'll leave that there. I'm gonna take a quick break, but it's their investor day. Their investor day. I'll be back in a few moments. Let me put on some tunes. Za. Tunes. Zing. Alright, be right back.
Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, it's all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up like my name Lazarus. No Satan gon' be mad at this. I had to ask my dad if it's okay to swing my bat at this. He said, boy, if I picture this out of the park, moving so quick it's like they stuck in park. They see the numbers, but I see the heart. 10,000 hours you spit in the dark, putting in good work, even though you didn't even know that it would work. Talking about a man who grew up in woodwork, do it for the love of it, that's the way it should work. Yeah. I know some people gon' look at me crazy, and I'm like, for what? Man, I was stuck, I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, it's all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm
down. Now I'm up like a seesaw. When I'm on a beat like an old man's lawn, better keep off. From the ground to the treetops, got clouds on my feet like Jack in the Beanstalk. Jumped off quick, went straight in a free fall. Cowboy hat and a mic singing yeehaw. Landed on my feet like a feline, put him back in the seat like a recline. Ay, what you mean I'm not worthy? Did it with a purpose, didn't need a permit. Digging from the bottom and I brought it to the surface. Mind your business now, who I worship. Who the little guy making big moves. Tick-tock, turn it to a tick, boom. Yeah, I talk a lot of stuff. Probably thought it was a bluff, till I went and turned it where?
I was down, but now I'm up. Let's go. Yeah. It's all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a what? Mission. Go. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the brakes and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Dunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I don't ever bother with a critic. Hit him with a chronicle of Riddick. Boom, bottle full of Ritalin. I hit him with a little bit of riddle me this, riddle me that. My bad, fell asleep at the gas. No time to wait though. Elon Musk, I'm trying to bankroll. New Tesla just cause I say so. Electric whip like Ivan Vanko. I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a mission. Okay, let's get it.
I've been on a mission like totally spice. I'm a baddie, she bad, but she totally nice. Nails are blue and her toes feel like white.
Hey everybody, I'm back. I actually have to take off because I forgot what time it was. I have thing to be at, so I'll do a quick recap here of what's going on in the markets. And I'm going to call it a day on the live stream. So as it stands right now, we are holding above that daily VWAP. So if you did take the trade of going long the daily VWAP or turning back through the little U-turn trade, your stop would be at the swing low, and you could probably move it up to close in on some of that risk there to the low of the next. This is a 15-minute time frame for the S&P 500. Just however you depend to see fit there as far as risk goes, but we're seeing a nice little pop back above that high. So the target would be back up to and around the daily expected move. But if you're up on the position, always consider just updating risk parameters how you see fit, going into smaller time frames, and so forth. As far as the market net flow goes, we are seeing the move up, but yet convergence is still gray. So this could turn fast, right? We're at 531. There's a pretty big 0-day level there as it stands, and we're above 531. So price can repel from that. But if we start getting underneath it, that's when we could see price come in a little bit. So that's where we stand right there. As far as the net gamma levels go, we are seeing traders reach out to 5,400. So that's going to be a key level to keep in lock, right? So keep your eyes on 5,400. And then 5,300, I would say that we're probably still buyers as long as we can hold above that 5,300. The same thing went the last time when it was 5,200, right? Going below 5,200, that was like where things could get a little shaky. But now it's 5,300. And we have our gamma flip line at 5260. So kind of that 40 point from 5260 to 5300 where we could see potential buyers still continue to step in. And you can take a look at like something like CTA positioning for the S&P 500. And you can see this increased from the prior week, probably around 10, 20 billion or so forth. But I would still imagine that these guys can still look into being buying. If you don't know what CTAs are, commodity trading advisors, they're basically their algorithms, right? They trade momentum. And that's about it. There's no feelings involved, right? So if things are going up, they'll trade into it. If things are going down, they'll sell into it. That's where we got all that downward convexity over here, and now it's kind of moving back up, okay? We're above the gamma flip line. We're above a rising 5-day moving average, so things are still in bullish context. That's all I got for you on today's episode, everybody. Hope it helped out. Hope you caught some of those moves. Yeah. Woo-wee. All right, y'all. See you, Moonraker. See you, Trader Jen. See you, FT Trader. See you, Sally Bet. AA. Later. Susan, see ya. Appreciate that, man. See you, Victor. See you, Eric. House of the Rising Funk. See you later. See you, Michael. A2. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. See you, Daryl. Yeah. All right. You have a great day, too, as well, Trader Jens. See you, DJ. Good game. GG. All right, y'all. Be careful.